Honourable David Cunliffe.
Because we're getting near the heart of the matter here. So the Callaghan Innovation grants, as I said, are not available to startups because they haven't got $300,000 to invest in R&D. They are absolutely scraping by, and they do not have a 1.5% of revenue track record that allows them to get these non-discretionary grants. So then, here in the Callaghan system, they are giving grants to foreign multinationals like, for example, Bayer or the Oracle America's Cup Syndicate. Can you believe that? But in the detail of this bill, sir, in clauses 213 and 217, the excluded activities from this complex halfway house take an opposite approach, and quite rightly, I think, exclude activities performed outside New Zealand. So if you go down the list of exclusions in this bill, there are some that we would agree with, like why would we give a tax credit to R&D done outside New Zealand? Fair enough, good move. Why would we give a tax credit to the acquiring or disposition of land unless it's directly related to the R&D? Good move, agree with that one. However, here's some we certainly don't agree with. Acquiring, disposing of, or transferring intangible property, core technology, intellectual property, or know-how, or related activities. So when you are transferring, for example, if you're in a high-tech cluster, intangibles or intellectual property from one part of the innovation chain across a company boundary to another, you can't claim the tax credit.
Which clause is this?
This is in clause 217 and 213. This is a very unusual move because it shows, frankly, a misunderstanding of the nature of high-tech clusters, where typically you have multiple firms working together to solve complex problems, often taking specific parts not only of a business value chain, but of a software process even. And so this makes no sense. And what's really ironic, of course, is that at the same time, the same government in the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations is making it harder.
Order. It's not part of this.
Sir, it is directly relevant. Not challenging your ruling, sir, but I'll come at that issue in a different way. We're at the case that while excluding a tax qualification for intangible property and intellectual property here, that somewhere else the government was extending the life of the same forms of intellectual property protection, making it harder for small businesses to get one and defend one, then there would be a double jeopardy. It's excluded here and it's more difficult there. So again, you know, the gestation, the history of this bill shows the government tripping all over itself. It would have been so much simpler, so much better, so much cleaner to have an across-the-board R&D tax credit properly defined with appropriate exclusions, but have it across the board and bankable rather than this cash-out loan that is so complex that most small businesses won't ever access it. One wonders, is it bad policy design or a deliberate PR spin that it looks like a proper tax credit, but it in fact isn't one because it's not fit for purpose and it's too complex for startups to use. So once again, a bit like child support light or working for families light or this light or that light, the government has signed up to a concept that the opposition has been evoking. Finally, they've brought something in that looks like half a loaf, but it just won't work. It's just not good enough. What about the idea, sir, of having an accelerated depreciation rate for short life, high technology, plant and equipment? Sounds sensible. There's a body of international literature around that, but it's not in this bill in the same way. In fact, the exclusions here include things not only like the acquisition or disposal of the IP, the commercial legal aspects of the patenting and licensing, excluded use of the services of developing through an external contractee the acquisition of intellectual property, and excluding the costs of acquisition or transfer, again, sir, making it very difficult for small companies working in a cluster to access these benefits. The reinstatement of losses, sir, are contained in clauses 99, 117, 119, 192, 194, 195 and 213.
Sorry to interrupt the honourable member. The time has come for me to report progress.
Members, the House is resumed.
Mr Speaker, the committee has considered the taxation annual rates for 2015-16, Research and Development and Remedial Matters Bill and reports progress. The committee has also further considered the Weathertight Homes Resolution Services Amendment Bill and reports no progress. The committee has also considered the Radio New Zealand Amendment Bill and reports no progress. The committee has also considered the Health Protection Amendment Bill and reports no progress. Mr Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Members, the Taxation Annual Rates for 2015-16, Research and Development and Remedial Matters Bill, the Weathertight Homes Resolution Services Amendment Bill, the Radio New Zealand Amendment Bill and the Health Protection Amendment Bill are set down for further consideration in committee next sitting day. Members, the House stands adjourned until 2 p.m. today.